Greetings friends, and welcome back to another video. My name is Carrie, and for those of you who are new to my channel, I am a professional psychic, spiritual guide, teacher, coach, healing practitioner in Sedona, Arizona. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and in today's video we are going to explore ways to upgrade your spiritual timeline. And so this is going to be sort of a continuation of some of the messages that I shared in the video I uploaded yesterday on the channeled Insights for June. And in that video, I had talked a little bit about the messages that were coming in regard to like a polarization that's happening in the world right now. Of course, in the world, there's always realities within realities, but right now, because we are in a time of awakening, we are in a time of rising up, this polarization that I was talking about yesterday is connected to the idea of spiritual timelines in the way that this is a really empowering time to consciously be creating the reality that you personally choose to exist in. So on one level, we have rampant fear happening in the world, not only because of the pandemic that has been happening, but now, of course, in the United States, there's unrest because of protests happening. So for those people who are in the realm of the protest, this is a reflection of what their current spiritual timeline is. But for other people who are choosing to hold space for love and light, we can be in a completely different reality that is sort of untouched or unscathed by those lower vibrations of fear, violence, and all of that. And so I want to start by talking about really like, okay, what is a timeline? This is a word that many of us probably have heard in spiritual awakening circles, but maybe we don't completely understand. So in a nutshell, a timeline in general is nothing but a point in time and space. So our spiritual timeline is a term that we use to describe what our point of attraction is, or what our vibrational set point is in the now. And it's all about being in the now, which I'm going to talk about at the end of the video, so make sure you watch to the end. But let's sort of tie this into what I was talking about yesterday. So our vibrational set point is made of the collection of our mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual states of being, which also include our connection with our higher self, which might sometimes be on more of an unconscious level, but also our shadow self, which can also be on the unconscious level. So what I'm going to share with you in moving forward are practices that you can do to consciously hold space for the reality that you're choosing to create, but then begin to work on the unconscious levels, bringing the unconscious to the conscious, basically, in a nutshell. So let's see. When we think about our timeline in the now, and as a psychic reader, I can tell you this with certainty. I do readings all day, every day for people. And so what my practice as a reader has taught me is the reality that I see for people is always based on their present energy, how they have their present energy set. And I've seen this, it's proven to be true time and time again. So if I'm doing a reading for someone and I'm seeing something for that person that is in the future, that future potential is always going to be based on their present energy. And so the value and the empowerment that comes with getting psychic insight is, if you're with a skilled practitioner, skilled reader, they will be able to see how your present vibration is influencing what it is that you are choosing or desiring to create for yourself in your life in the now, and how that looks in the future. So if there's something that's not in line, then what I see my job really as being is showing my clients what they can do to get back on track with alignment with the reality they're wanting to create now, which will of course influence the future. And this is what I'm going to share with you. So I want to start by saying that we have available to us infinite potentials and possibilities in what we experience in life. And what we experience is always based on what we are predominantly feeling, sensing, thinking, believing. But here's the catch. It's not necessarily what you're thinking and believing on a conscious level that creates your reality, or what you're desiring to think or believe, or what you want to think or believe. But it's what you are unconsciously thinking or believing or feeling that really establishes that vibrational set point in the now. So let's talk about some things that you can do to bring some of those unconscious dimensions into the conscious reality. It begins with a willingness to have honest self-reflection, examination, evaluation, and taking those principles of evaluation, examination, and reflection and turning them into mindfulness practices. I do have another video on my channel that talks a little bit about mindfulness and meditation. That would be a good one to watch, and I will elaborate on it in future videos as well. So one thing we can do is just pause, maybe do some journaling around what you are truly, truly feeling on the inside of you. And one of the components with doing this type of sort of shadow work, so to speak, where we're taking the unconscious and bringing it into the conscious, has to do with healing our old wounds, our old emotional wounds. And we can gain insight as to old emotional wounds that might be unconsciously sabotaging us by noticing what our triggers are. Anything that triggers us into a state of being that is other than peace, tranquility, typically is connected to an old wound. Let's look at the example of what's happening in the world right now with people who are protesting with violence. So it's horrible that a person was killed unfairly. But the people who are choosing to protest against that with violence, we can witness that as a manifestation of their own reaction to their unconscious own wounds and or their unconscious belief system. The people who are retaliating and protesting with violence are people who have unconscious beliefs around, fighting fire with fire, so to speak, or push me and I'll push you back, tit for tat, being spiteful, being vindictive. And that, of course, is not going to offer any type of peaceful solution, right? And so we can look at these aspects within ourselves. I talked about that in the video I uploaded yesterday as well with the channeled insights for June. But being willing to have reflection around what your own triggers are will give you the structure that you need in order to start doing some spiritual growth work around those things. And there's lots of resources for that. There's resources on my channel. I'll have future ones as well. But first is a willingness. Now, on the other hand, the other end of the shadow work is higher self work, doing meditations that connect you with your highest nature and bringing that down and in as well. Being in your heart center, moving forward. And so ultimately, in addition to bringing unconscious influences to the conscious mind, on the conscious level, working with consciously embracing actual senses and feelings that are high vibrational, the high vibration spectrum, love, light, blessings, peace, joy, even saying those words as like a mantra to yourself. I have a fun game that I play with myself where I say, I am, and then I think of as many positive words as I can think of that I believe to be true about myself and turn that into a mantra. I am light, I am love, I am blessed, I am loving, I am goodness, I am soulful, I am creative. And just letting it be a stream of consciousness and allowing those words to really be received and like breathed in by your heart. The more you can actually feel the feelings of those essence qualities, those vibrations, the more your vibration is going to lift and you're going to be able to maintain a higher state of being, which will put you in a timeline that will be a vibrational match to additional experiences that reflect that back to you in the here and now. So I want to talk a little bit about this thing of the here and now, because I have seen many teachers speak of the spiritual timeline with the idea of shifting your timeline in the here and now so that you can manifest a currently unmanifested desire in the future. And if you're doing it in that regard, it's gonna set you up for failure, because if you're thinking about, I'm optimizing my timeline so that this thing I don't have right now can show up in the future, you're automatically programming your timeline in the here and now in ways that are connected to a sense of lack. And that sense of lack in the now will follow you into the future. So you really have to be willing to be in the energy of enjoyment in the now. No matter what you could definitely have future goals and ambitions, but stay focused on the now with them. What do I have within my ability to do today that's going to feed my creative intention and desire around this goal that I have? How can I put energy towards that today and enjoying the process of today without being worried or attached to what the outcome might be in the future? Just keeping it in the here and now. So as we're talking about this idea of spiritual timeline, it's always fluctuating and shifting to some degree, but that fluctuating and shifting is going to be based on, again, what you are vibrating most consistently or most frequently. So if you have a bad day, something knocks you off balance, and you have a moment of, emotional turbulence or mental turbulence, it's not gonna, be a huge deterrent to the collective timeline that you have going on for yourself. It's what you are most consistently vibrating, and that's why it's really empowering and really important to be cognizant and aware of how you feel in each now moment, and always be working towards feeling better and better, because this is what's going to enable you to rise into a high vibrational experience of reality. And the more of us that can do that collectively, again, the more we are supporting a global shift in regard to, that critical mass and a tipping of the scales in consciousness. We need this now. The world needs this now. And in regard to the people who are protesting with violence, we can send them love as well. That's, that's the highest way. This also reminds me of another thing I wanted to say about that within yourself. I spoke about this with a client earlier today. For those of us who are still healing from old wounds, we might have lower vibrational energies within us that we don't like having. So sometimes what happens is we try to push it down, we reject it, or we even get upset with ourselves about having it. We can be in resentment with ourselves for having it. We start pushing against our own wounds that need healed. When we do that, you're only going to create a war within yourself. The most important thing is to address and support and embrace anything that feels like lower vibration with love and support as something that is giving you information that's helping you to grow and expand in consciousness. So even within yourself, you want to be an advocate for all risings and fallings of energies and emotions and states of being that happen within you. Love them all equally without pushing against or rejecting or disowning things that are connected to those aspects of yourself or your shadow side. We want to be embodiments of love for all aspects of ourselves so that we can rise into higher states of being and wholeness and integration. That is my prayer for you. That's my prayer for me. It's my prayer for the world collectively right now. And so I'm going to wrap it up for today on this video, and I'll see you in the next video. If you are enjoying the content that I'm inspired to share with you on my channel, take a moment to subscribe, share the video if you'd wish, and I will see you in the next one. Blessings. Namaste. Much love.